Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we're going on another apple adventure. Now I know apple season is slowly coming to a close, but there are still some apples out there, and Granny Smith apples you can find all year round, and they're pretty cheap. So when I ran across this apple recipe while I was doing my apple research last month, I thought, I'm gonna do this. I don't care when, I don't care that it's not apple season anymore. This is gonna happen. And if it's good, I'm gonna keep this recipe forever because we're making caramel apple blondies. What is a blondie, you ask? If you've never had one, it's basically like a cookie that doesn't have any chocolate. Well, okay, a brownie that's made of vanilla, not chocolate. So a blondie and a brownie, they're close cousins, but one is chocolate and one is not. So this is a caramel apple blondie. You guys, if this works, this might be my new go-to cookie. You ready for this? Let's get started. What you're gonna need for these caramel apple blondies are 2 medium Granny Smith apples, peeled and diced, 1 1/2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 12 tablespoons of butter, softened, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 large egg plus 1 egg yolk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 3/4 cups of flour, 2 1/2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. You're also going to need some thick store-bought caramel for the drizzle. All right, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do is in the bowl of your stand mixer, get all of your butter. You are going to do the 1 cup of brown sugar and the 1/2 cup of white sugar. And that's all for this step. So we're gonna go ahead and get that mixing so it's light and fluffy, and it could take about 3 minutes. Meanwhile, while that's mixing, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my apples into small dices. And it should take me less time to cut these up. We just want it to be light and fluffy. All right, it looks light and fluffy, but I just reread the directions and it said I needed to peel the apple first before I cored it. So that one's not peeled, but I'll go ahead and peel this one so that at least it's half and half. Halfway through this apple, I went, oh, I wonder if I'm supposed to peel this. Yes, yes you are. I also forgot I have a handy dandy corer that I can core this, and it will make it way easier to cut. I have a lot on my mind today. There's a leak in my ceiling, and so I'm thinking about that while cooking, and it's obviously we can see how that's going. And I just looked up how much apple is in a 1 medium apple, and it said 1 1/3 cup. So I went ahead and measured it out. And so this is only about 1/3 cup with the peels still on. So my apples were obviously very large apples, and we'll call that good. And there's only a few things in there. It'll be fine. Okay, now we're gonna sprinkle the 1 1/2 tablespoons of sugar and the teaspoon of cinnamon over the top of our apples, and we're gonna give them a good toss to coat them. And we're gonna set them aside while we do the rest of this. You could use a spoon, but since I don't have any spoons out right now, I'm just gonna toss to coat. Okay, we're pale and fluffy over here, moving on. Now we're gonna add our eggs. So let's get this back on to medium, right? It doesn't say. We're gonna add our eggs one at a time. Whoop. Actually, our egg and our egg yolk. And it looks like I'm gonna have to get a spoon anyway because it's sticking to the side, so I'm gonna scrape it down. All right, give your mixer a scrapey scrape. Then we're gonna get it started again and add in our other egg. All right, and now we're gonna add the vanilla, and we're just gonna let that go until it is very well mixed. And I might scrape it down one more time because my beater doesn't seem to be getting this one edge. I might have to adjust my mixer. Did you know that you can adjust your mixer? There is a little, let's see if you can see it, right there. That screw right there adjusts your mixer up and down. I won't do it right now because I have food in here, but you can definitely adjust this thing right here, and it will go up or down, and it will help your mixer to meet all the places. Adjust it too high, you'll scrape the bowl really hard and damage your mixer. But did you know that? You can just adjust it with that little screw right there. Anyway, let's beat this to fluffy. It looks nice and fluffy. Fold in our flour. Okay, so we're gonna fold. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. I'm gonna turn this on to see if I can get most of that off. We'll just pop it on out. All right, so I'll just make sure everything's up off the bottom and mix thoroughly. And then we are gonna fold in all of the flour. So probably the reason they don't want you to mix it is because when you over mix flour, it becomes like bread and real stretchy because you activate all of those gluten strands and they grab onto each other and then they make really chewy dough. We don't want chewy cookies. I mean, not that kind of chewy. There's chewy good and then there's chewy, you don't want that. They'll be tough and gross, so don't do that. So we're just gonna go ahead and mix these in. All right, and once things are looking a little wetter than drier, that's when we're gonna go ahead and put in our apples, right? Where is it? I can't even find it. Oh, apple mixture, there we go. Oh, apple mixture going in. All right, and then we're gonna fold this all together and make sure we see no dry mixture, so no flour. I don't wanna see any flour because nothing's worse than getting a mouthful of flour in a cookie or cake or anything. You know what? It just occurred to me that there's no salt in this recipe. And it asks for salted butter, so I assume that's where they want the salt from. But I'm really realizing right now that I did not use salted butter. So let's remedy that. Let's go ahead and put in half a teaspoon of salt. Also, make sure your oven's on. I didn't do that either. As you can see, this is just how it's going today. Maybe this shouldn't have been a video day because there's so much in my brain right now. It's okay. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work. We'll get that worked in there. Real life, you guys, real life. Have you ever had something happen where you're just like, that has thrown me for a loop? This is one of those things. Okay, once you have ensured that number one, you have used salted butter, and if you have not, you add your salt. Once it looks a little bit like this, we are gonna get it into our prepared pan. So this is very much like a cookie, not a cake, which is why your batter is kind of stodgy like that. So don't worry, this is correct. This is what blondies look like. I've never made the apple blondies before, but I have made blondies before. Okay, so then I'm gonna take an offset palette knife and I'm just gonna push this batter into the corners and kind of even it out so it cooks evenly. Because if you leave it in big piles, it's just gonna and not cook. You know, actually this is a great day for me to be doing this because this will be comforting. If it turns out, it will be brilliant and I'll be like, all will be right with the world because I have a caramel apple blondie. Okay, once we are flat, we are gonna mix together the 2.5 tablespoons of sugar and the 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna mix it all around in our bowl and then we are gonna sprinkle it over the top of this, the whole thing. So sprinkle this like you were sprinkling streusel or the inside of cinnamon rolls. Oh yeah. I assume this will caramelize just a little bit and create, okay, I don't think I mixed it very well because now the cinnamon is like coming out. It's fine. Then take your pastry brush and take your lines out. Okay, there we have it. And now we are gonna get it into our preheated oven for 30 to 4 minutes or until a skewer goes in and comes out with no batter stuck to it. Then we are gonna do the treacherous job of letting it cool completely. So I'll be back here when it comes out and it's cooled completely. Maybe I'll have a coffee and settle down a little bit and my head will all be here to taste these and just have a joyous day because I'm not gonna let this get me down. No, I will not because this is just a thing. It's not a crisis, it's just a thing. So I'll be back when this is all done. See ya. Okay, we're back and it has cooled to room temperature. So we are gonna remove it from the pan. And unmold it to see just how stinking beautiful it looks. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the directions weren't really clear as to how we're supposed to do the caramel. It just said drizzle it. So I've warmed my caramel. This is just some caramel I got from Trader Joe's. I'm just gonna warm it up. I warmed it up for 30 seconds and it made it very pourable. And I'm just gonna drizzle some over the top, not the whole thing because I might have a heart attack. And let's just go back and forth over the top. I feel like I'm gonna need more than that, but it's okay. For now, this is what's gonna work. Oh my goodness, this looks so good. Maybe it was worth it, all of it. The frustration of my day will be erased by these delicious caramel apple blondies. Oh my goodness. I wonder if I was supposed to cut them first. Probably not. We'll just go with it. All right, let's go ahead and cut some. And I'm gonna cut it right down the center. Whoop, whoop, whoop. These aren't really setting up very well, but that's okay. Ooh, Tastes more like cake, but we'll go with it. Feel like it's gonna be like caramel apple cake. But that's okay. These don't feel very blondie-like. Blondies are a little tougher, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna taste it. It's gonna be great. Look at this. Oh my. That looks pretty delicious. Let's go ahead and try it. I don't feel like it's super blondie forward, but I'm not mad. It's like a super moist cake, but yet it's not quite cake consistency. It does have just the right amount of salt, so pat my back for a moment for remembering I wasn't using salted butter. It's really good. But it's almost like so crumbly. I don't think it's a blondie, but I think it's good. I mean, okay, the edges are crispy like I know blondie to be, but because the apples are in there, it's just so moist that I don't get that blondie feeling, but oh man, is it good. I would make this again 100%. I would just call it, I don't even know what I would call it. Well, let's rename it. It's not caramel apple blondies. This will be, I don't know. Hold on. Caramel apple sheet cake? That's what I think it is. I think it's a caramel apple sheet cake, not a blondie. It's just a really good vanilla cake that is very moist and very good, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a blondie, but that's okay. That's the recipe is called caramel apple blondies, but if you download my recipe on my website, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a caramel apple sheet pan cake. Because it's not quite sheet cake, but yet maybe it's not gonna be called sheet cake. I don't know, I can't decide. But what do you think? What do you think it should be called? Because whatever it's called, I'm gonna make it again. I just need to know how to find it later because it's really good. I'm gonna eat another piece because why not? After this day, I'm gonna eat it. It's really good. It's really good. But it's awfully crumbly. Just didn't hold together very well, but I'll take it. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, finish this, and then I'm gonna serve one to my husband to see what he thinks because he loves apple pie and I'm pretty sure this is gonna be right up his alley. If you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week and I'm always looking for the next adventure. So if you've got one for me, leave it in the comments below. I'm always up for that new challenge or the new thing that I should try to do. Now, I'm gonna get off here and finish this and call a contractor. All right, you guys, we'll see you. Bye.